Hello class, welcome to the Stat 312 introduction video. When you begin this course, the first thing you're going to do is open up eCampus. eCampus is where you're going to find all the pertinent information for this course. The first thing you should always check is going to be the announcements page. Assuming when you opened up eCampus already, you saw my welcome to Stat 312 introductory remarks and perhaps another announcement talking about what you should be working on this first week. In this video, I want to go through all the sections of eCampus and talk about how to get JUMP installed on your computer. So let's first go to the left-hand side of my screen and take a look at course content. We're going to begin with the first folder that says course information. Under the folder for course information, you can find this introductory video, course syllabus, our tentative class schedule, where you can find the tutoring schedule for statistics, and then information about how to get JUMP installed on your software. So first, let's take a look at that course syllabus. I won't read through all of this, but I will highlight that which I feel is most important. So first thing you see is, of course, that this is Stat 312 and our semester is fall 2021. And you can see my name and how to contact me by email. A little bit note about my email address. If you go to, say, like under tools and you want to send, like I think one of the options is like send your instructor an email, it's not going to produce this email address. The reason for that being is that I went to graduate school here at WVU, and so my eCampus account is connected to my Mix student email. They are connected, so whether you use mail.wvu.edu or mix.wvu.edu, I'll still get the email regardless. But just in case you need it, the email is here. Office hours by appointment only. If you have a question, just send me an email. If it's something we have to hash out over Zoom, we can do that. But in general, most of your questions can be solved quickly through an email. I'll leave you to read the course description. Textbook. It is on the bookstore if you need it. The textbook is the 3rd edition of Statistical Methods. I have the ISB number here. Yes, you do need this textbook. I pull your homework questions from the textbook, and this is an online class, which means there is going to be a necessity of using your textbook to learn information. As I said, eCampus is where you're going to find most of the information for this course, including course notes, class videos, assignments, where you'll post your assignments, how I'll communicate with you. Pretty much everything's going to be done through eCampus. Computing. So I've mentioned this already, about getting something called JUMP installed. So JUMP is a statistical software package that we use in this course. It is a valuable skill to use. Little bit about me is I do work full-time as a statistician. Being an instructor at WVU is my, quote, side hustle. And I certainly have colleagues who do use JUMP regularly when they're doing statistical analysis. And so for that reason, I am teaching you this very valuable skill, and it will help you in your own analysis in this course. Next thing to talk about, which is probably the thing you're most interested in, is to talk about the grading. So there will be 3 exams in this course. They are all cumulative. And what do I mean by that? So the first exam is going to cover the first chapters 1 through part of chapter 6. Second exam covers all that material from the first exam plus the new material, and the final exam is everything from the beginning of the semester. So they are genuinely cumulative. I do want to say, as far as that final exam is, I really do try to make it cumulative in the sense of I usually will break each page of the exam into one of the chapters that we covered type of deal. So yes, you will need to learn and maintain all of that information in your head. The first two exams are each worth 20%. Your final exam is worth 25% of your grade. Next, we have something called knowledge checks, and they're going to be about 6 to 8 knowledge checks given over the course of this semester. These knowledge checks are short assignments that just cover the material that we learned that week. It'll be posted on Sunday of whatever week we're on, and will be due the following Saturday. So, for example, our second knowledge check is going to be posted by August 29th and will be due by September 4th. I do have these dates on here as a way of kind of in case something has to change, but in general, I actually do have all of these assignments already posted, except for the exams. One thing I realized I didn't talk about with the exams is the date of those exams. So your first exam will be posted on Thursday, September 23rd, and will be due Saturday, September 25th. So you have 48 hours to complete your exams. You are not obligated to complete your exams on the weekend. You are welcome to complete that exam on Friday, turn it in, and be done with it. But you do have the option to take the exam on a Saturday when I know you guys don't have classes. So be aware of that. Your second exam will be due on November 6th, and then your final exam will be due on Friday, December 17th. And again, you'll have 48 hours for that. I do not give makeup exams, and if you submit your exam late, it is 50% off per day. And what do I consider per day is if you're submitting your exam 1 minute late, your exam is late and it's 50% off. Okay, so we've talked about the exams a little scatteredly, but we did talk about them. Knowledge checks, again, they're short assignments that cover that week's material. I grade the knowledge checks on completion. So basically, if you do it, you'll get the points for it. The purpose of these knowledge checks is twofold. One, it's to make sure you're keeping up with the material. And two, it's to give you practice with the material before I am grading it for accuracy. So what's going to happen with these knowledge checks is you'll submit them by Saturday at midnight. And then within the next couple of days after that, I'm going to post the answer key. So you can take a look at what you did versus what was supposed to be done. And so you can make any corrections and learn from your mistakes without the stakes being too high. Periodically, you will have homework assignments. These homework assignments will correspond to the material of our current chapter being covered. So we're looking at homework assignments on chapter 5, 6, 7, and 8. In our textbook, chapters 1 through 4 are material that you covered in Stat 211 or 215. Chapters 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are really the focus of this course. And so that's where the focus of our homework assignment is going to be. Each of these homework assignments will be worth 10 points, or in other words, each of these homework assignments are 5% of your grade. These homework assignments are graded for accuracy. That's the purpose of having the knowledge checks, is so you have a chance to make mistakes and learn from them, and then your homework and exams, I grade on accuracy. For your homework, you are definitely encouraged to use the statistical software, because how else are you going to be comfortable using it if you don't practice with it? As far as assignment submission goes, all your assignments are going to be posted on eCampus as a single PDF document. What you should be doing for each of your assignments, you should be printing them out, completing them legibly, scan them, and submit them as a single PDF document. I am also okay if you submit them as a Word document. The point is that they do need to be one document, because in general, with the exception of your knowledge checks, which are graded based on completion, your homework and exams, I also print out and grade them by hand. That way I can give you the most detailed feedback as possible. If you have a touchscreen computer and have a fancy dancy pen and can write on your screen, you are more than welcome to do that as long as it is legible and is returned to me as a single document, then you should be good to go. And if not, that's another bright thing about the knowledge checks, is I'll be able to let you know if you're not submitting things correctly. I will say after the third week, if you're still not submitting your assignments correctly, I do start taking points off at that point. The reason being is some people will try to submit assignments as individual JPEGs, and if they have a homework assignment with, say, 15 questions, they'll submit 15 JPEGs, and it is very hard to print out and give you back 15 pages of information. Well, I shouldn't say hard, but it does annoy me because then I'm wasting 15 pages of paper, and that is not good for the environment. So please submit everything as a single document and everything will be good. Remember, as your teacher, you do not want me grading angrily. You want me to be happy when I'm grading. Okay, so class structure. What is going to happen in general is on Sunday of every week, I will post a list of tasks for you to complete. In general, it'll be read these sections in your book, watch this lecture video, take the corresponding notes, and complete this various assignment. The assignments will either be, as we've discussed, homework, knowledge check, or exams. Each of those assignments will be needed to be completed by the following Saturday by 11:59 p.m. So I do want to pay quick attention to the due dates of things. So I'm going to exit out of our syllabus and pull out our course schedule. So you do have a bit of a long first week, seeing as the semester starts on Wednesday. So your first assignment isn't actually going to be due until the following Saturday, and it is going to be just a knowledge check of some of that review material from Stat 211 or 215. Part of the reason you do have such a long time is because having something due Saturday when your class starts on Wednesday is a bit quick for my taste, and also it is giving you plenty of time to get JMP installed on your computers. So there really is 2 assignments, but only one I can verify that you actually did. So as you can see, with the exception of that week of Thanksgiving and the week immediately after, you do have an assignment due every week, either a knowledge check, homework, or exam. On the weeks you have exams, there are no other assignments due. So ideally, you get to spend from Sunday to that Thursday evening freely able to study for the exams and then have those 2 days to take your exams. Once again, with the due dates, everything in this course, except for your final, which is due on a Friday, is due Saturday of that week by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard. I know a lot of professors have things due on Sunday. Because I do have a full-time job, it's easier for me to have things due on Saturday so that I can grade them for you on Sunday. Also, I want to give you guys the opportunity not to work on the weekends, which means if I post material on Sunday, you have the option to complete everything you need to complete on Monday through Friday and then not have to work on Saturday or Sunday. But if you want to work on the weekends, you have the option to both work ahead by me having things posted on Sunday, or if you are a procrastinator, then you can complete things on Saturday. And so that was the reason for why my due dates are a bit different than I know most other online courses. But there is a method to the madness, and there it is. All right, so do pay attention to this course schedule. It is tentative, meaning there can be changes made. Hopefully not too many at this point. I think this is probably my, maybe 5th time teaching this course, so it is pretty well established at this point. Okay, so Now that we've talked about the course schedule, next we're going to plop down and take a look at the STAT Tutoring Center. So at the time of this video, the hours have not been posted, but they will be posted at this link when that information is available. So the Statistics Tutoring Lab is located in Hodges Hall, room 109, and it is for students in Stat 312 and some of the other courses. You do not need an appointment. You are allowed to drop by anytime the lab is open. There is no charge. This is absolutely free to you. I believe the plan is to have the tutoring center open at least 5 days a week, possibly 6. It's going to depend on what the tutors can do. So if you're stuck, you need help in this course, and you don't feel comfortable talking to me, or you want to work with someone in person, then definitely go to the Statistics Tutoring Lab. I have had all of the student tutors and even approved who they were, so they are excellent students, and I highly recommend all of them. Okay, so now we can finally talk about JUMP. JUMP is that statistical software I mentioned. This first link under course information just gives you some background information about JUMP. So the JMP is pronounced as JUMP, and as I said, it is a statistical software. It's an underlying scripting language that can be used to program custom data analysis. Basically, it is a very nice point and click software. At the end of reading this, I'll even pull up JUMP on my own computer. So you can get JUMP by going to the SAS website and downloading it, but what I highly would recommend is that you rent JUMP through the WVU Software Licensing Center. The rental cost is $20, and it is for a whole year. The cost is prorated, but unfortunately not for you guys. It is prorated for those who are in my spring class. Also, if you do not want to have to pay for JUMP, they do have JUMP on computers in the library. So if you are unwilling to pay the $20, then you can go ahead and do that. There are some information on training menus, training videos, manuals, and whatnot here. I will say, I don't know if any student has actually used these, but they are there for you to help. You will notice in my lecture video section that we'll get to here in a bit, I do include videos on how to use JUMP relevant to that section, which of course I encourage you to check out. But if you want to get a head start, definitely look at these JUMP training videos. Okay, so let's talk about how to get JUMP installed on your computer. So in order to do that, you're going to go to the SLIC software request. We can see all this wonderful information, but first thing you're really going to do is submit a ticket. You will be asked to select one of the following in your software request, and this is going to be purchased with your own personal funds. And then you'll fill out the following form: JUMP, your phone number, your WVU department, you are a student, you'll be downloading it onto your computers, and then you of course agree to the terms of use. Afterwards, you'll select request. I'm not going to do that because I already have JUMP on my computer, but one of the things it is going to tell you is before they will give you JUMP on your computer, you first have to pay for it. There are two different ways you can pay for it. One is to go to the tech desk or IT desk in the Mountaineer Mountaineer Lair, or you can give the IT desk a call and pay over the phone. But you will not hear back from the software request people until after you paid. So after you put in the request, give them a call, pay, and then they'll send you an email with the software. To show you what JMP looks like, I'm going to pull it up right now. It's this icon here, the bottom of my screen. I have the JMP 15 Pro, which I highly recommend using. So I'm going to just select a random data set for you to see. And so this is what JMP looks like. It kind of looks like a fancy and yet easier to understand version of Excel. You will see in the spreadsheet part your X and Y columns. Also here on the left, you'll see these symbols with a blue triangle and a red histogram. These symbols tell you what kind of variables your columns are. A blue triangle means you have continuous variables, and a red histogram is categorical. To do something very basic like finding means, medians, and standard deviations, you can go to Analyze, Distribution, select your column of interest, hit OK, and you'll be given summary statistics, even your interquartile ranges. Well, not necessarily the interquartile range, but you are given your quartiles. As I said, this is something I will teach you as the course goes on, but just so you have an idea what it looks like and how really easily it is to analyze the data. Very quickly, I'm going to analyze this data, and then boom, very point and click, very easy. And again, all of this stuff will be taught to you as the course goes on, but just to show you how easy and efficient analyzing through JMP can be. And again, you should be downloading the 15 Pro version if you have the option. All right, so now I'm going to exit out of JMP and go back to talk about our course content, including our course notes and videos. So following our course information folder, we have our course notes and videos. You will see a link to our Stat 312 YouTube channel. All the videos that are on my media site are also on the YouTube channel. Sometimes, depending on your internet connection, you might find the YouTube channel easier to work with. So each of these folders are broken down with chapter. As I mentioned, we talked about the syllabus. Chapters 1 through 4 in our textbook covers material that was in Stat 215 and 211. We will cover that briefly as a review, but our main focus of this course are chapters 5 through 9. But just to give you an idea of what to expect, I'm going to go ahead and click on chapter 5. And you can see we have two subfolders, one that has our lecture videos, two videos here that have content, and then as promised, one video that talks about how to use JMP. Under your lecture slides and handouts, you will have the lecture slides that relate to our videos, both the theoretical notes and handout that goes through the JMP process. And also any other relevant handouts will also be posted in these folders. Everything is open and released at this time for these. So as I said before, a lot of these assignments have already been posted, as we'll now see. And so you are welcome to work ahead in this course if you so choose. The only thing that is really that time sensitive is your exams as far as release. The due dates are as they are. Okay, so first thing under the assignments folder is the assignment submission guidelines. This is pretty detailed, but essentially what it says is a lot of what I've already covered. 1, please return your assignment as a single document. If you do not have access to a scanner, there are several free apps you may use on your phone. I personally have had a lot of success using CamScanner. In fact, that's the app I use to scan and send you guys back your homework. Depending on your internet connection, sometimes it does take a few minutes to upload and submit your assignment. take that into account when you're submitting your assignments. A late assignment is a late assignment. So if you're trying to upload your assignment at 11:59 p.m. and it turns to midnight before it fully submits, your homework is late. And with the exception of your exams, I don't accept late work. So make sure you don't wait till the very last minute. Next, I do expect you to work individually on each of your assignments. It is usually pretty easy to tell if you guys are working together because you'll see a group of assignments that all have the same rather unusual mistake. One of my favorites was a group of students that all had the same mistake in that they all analyzed the incorrect data set with certain values they replaced with other values. So it was pretty obvious that, you know, there's no 17 in this data set. Why do you all have a 17 added in? So please don't cheat. It's a lot of paperwork for me and emotionally not good for you, also academically. There will be problems from the textbook assigned for your homework assignment. Please complete those problems in the order as they are given. As I said before, you don't have to type your solutions, but please be neat. If you want to type your solutions, you are more than welcome to. In fact, if you do want to, certainly let me know, and I might be able to help you do that in a way that's a bit faster than you think. This second item on my list is basically a lot of wording to say, please be concrete, direct, and concise on your homework assignments. I have a pretty big rule when it comes to grading your assignments, and that is if you are not giving me specific details on your assignment and just giving me something pretty generic, then that tells me you don't know what you're talking about, and you're definitely going to have points taken off. On the other hand, if you give me too much information, and again, in a way that tells me that you don't know what you're talking about, then again, you will lose points in that case. What do I mean by that? So, statistics is really kind of the child of English and math. And usually when people struggle in statistics, it's not the math that's hard, it's the English, it's the interpretation, it's the explanations. And so if you're giving me a generic explanation that could be applied to literally any problem, that tells me you don't understand what's going on. Because if we are talking about lab results, then your explanation should talk about lab results. And as far as not giving me too much information, if you're asked to give me explain and interpret a confidence interval, I should not be having things that are not dealing with the explanation and the confidence interval. Because if you're throwing an entire phone book of information at me, then again, that tells me you don't know what you're talking about. And in this course, again, statistics is the child of math and English. I will be assessing you on both. Okay, so of course, if you have questions on the assignment submission guidelines, send me an email and I'll be more than happy to talk through. As far as your assignments go, first folder will have the knowledge check, and as you can see, I do have all of the knowledge checks posted. There are 8 of them. I post each assignment twice, one as a Word document, one as a PDF document. They are identical. The reason I do this is for those who wish to type their assignments, they want to have a Word document. For those who are printing out the assignment, completing it by hand, or using a pen and a touch screen, they prefer to have a PDF document. So you'll see with most of the assignments, I do give you the option of completing it with a Word or a PDF document. Under your knowledge check is your homework. Homework assignments are in the first folder. Again, 4 homework assignments corresponding to chapters 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't have a homework assignment assigned for chapter 9, which is the very last chapter we cover, but there are knowledge checks associated with it. Underneath the homework assignment is the homework assignment answer sheet. So I'm going to be perfectly honest, you guys are kind of getting punished for your previous classmates. I do not want to have homework assignments submitted to me that are on a ripped up, crumbled piece of paper that I can't read, and I also do not want to have a homework assignment that is 50 pages long, because once again, I do print these out and there is no reason for anything to be 50 pages long. So, for your convenience, I have made homework answer sheets. So when you wish to complete your homework assignments, you will go to either the Word document or PDF, depending on how you choose to complete your homework assignment. You'll pull it up and you will answer the questions in the space provided. This will keep everything neat, organized, and will limit your space to what is needed. So meaning you will not be able to necessarily give me too much information, although it is still possible that you could give me too little. And so again, depending on how you want to complete your homework, whether you're typing or printing out and completing it by hand, I've given you your answer sheets as PDF or Word documents. Once again, I'm going to go back and just show you what the homework assignments look like. Notice that these are not given to you as both a Word and PDF because it's just the assignment. So what the assignments look like, you'll be usually given a couple of concept questions. These concept questions are usually either true or false or multiple choice. Be careful, the true or false is usually correct the false, so don't fall into that trap of forgetting to calculate the false. And then there are usually practice exercises and regular exercise questions that you'll need to complete. Again, please complete your homework assignments on the homework assignment answer sheet to keep things neat and tidy. As I said before, make sure you want to keep your professors and instructors happy when they're grading. You don't want a sad instructor grading. Okay, so under our assignments folder and course content, we have the assignment submission folder. So depending on whatever assignment you have this week, either a knowledge check, homework, or exam, this is where you'll go to submit the assignments. Right now, these sections are blank because I haven't uploaded anything for these, but when the time comes, there will be options to submit your homework 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and various knowledge checks. Under your assignment submission is a useful folder called Useful Tables. So in this course, we do spend quite a bit of time talking about solving hypothesis test and confidence intervals. And if you recall from Stat 111 and 215, confidence intervals and hypothesis tests tend to correspond to various distributions, either the t-distribution, normal distribution, chi-square distribution, and so on. So those tables that are used can be found here on eCampus. There is also a table here that says Summary Stat Table. I do understand that all of the hypothesis test and confidence intervals can get pretty confusing. So this summary table kind of just synthesizes all of that information when you are trying to complete hypothesis test and confidence intervals for 1 sample, 2 samples, and multi-samples. Going back to course content, the very last thing is the data sets. And as this is a stats course, it should not surprise you that we are going to be working with data. So there are book data sets that come, surprise, surprise, from our textbooks, and there's some other data sets that I use. Depending on what you need, of course, you can select the right folder and pull up your data sets. One thing to be aware of, so these are as SAS files. And so the first time you open one of these files after you install Jump on your computer, you might have to do something where you go to your Windows, select Downloads, left click, and specifically say Open with Jump if it doesn't do it automatically. Of course, if you have problems, as I've been saying, please send me an email because it is something that's pretty easy to explain if you get stuck. Okay, so that was the end of our course contents. Last thing to talk about is tools. Under tools, there's not much of note except for something they will probably care about, and it is where you can have access to your grades. I do try to post your grades pretty regularly, and so this is where you can find your current up-to-date grades. Also, if you get stuck, need help, this is that send email link I was talking about earlier. Again, don't panic if it says it's sending to SK Service at a Mix account. I'll get the email. One couple things I do want to know, because I do get this a little bit every semester. My last name is Service. Samantha is my first name, and Caitlin is my middle name. For some reason, I always get a couple of people every semester that say Professor Caitlin, and I always get a good chuckle out of that. But yeah, that's actually my middle name, not my last name. Last name is Service, but you know, still, it's funny when you think on it later. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this introduction video. If you have questions, like I said, and you'll hear me say at the end of every one of your lecture videos, if you have questions, please send me an email. Have a great night.